It's fair to say that 2024 has been an impactful year for Vacheron Constantin. At Watches and Wonders in Geneva, the 269-year-old brand did nothing less than unveil the most complicated watch ever made, the Cabinotiers Berkley Grand Complication. Although, in typical Vacheron fashion, the brand didn't make that much noise about it. Anyway, you'd think that a timepiece of that magnitude would be the natural candidate in any ranking of the brand's best releases of the fair. But actually, it wasn't that hefty pocket watch that most turned my eye in Geneva. Instead, it was the Traditionnelle Tourbillon Chronograph Excellence Platine that really impressed me, which isn't just one of the quote-unquote most platinum watches made in recent memory, but a truly glorious yet surprisingly understated example of haute horlogerie. So, what do I mean by most platinum? Well, all the main elements of the watch, aside from its movement and strap, are crafted from 950 platinum. The case, the crown, the clasp, even the dial, which is made from a single piece of finely grained platinum, denoted by an almost invisible hallmark at 430. And while the strap might be made from alligator leather, the stitching is made from silk braided with platinum thread. I think this is a particular extravagance that's demonstrative of both Vacheron Constantin's attention to detail as well as its panache. Indeed, it's the little details that really make this watch, like how the tourbillon cage, which is shaped like a Maltese cross, features a blued screw at one of its points, so you can use it as a small sequence indicator. Or how the tourbillon carriage's conical suspension bar takes a whopping 12 hours to polish by hand alone. Then you've got the Dauphin hour and minute hands, which are half polished and half microblasted to help aid legibility. Another thoughtful and masterful move. I also like how the blued chronograph and power reserve hands match the blue of the strap. Another finishing detail worth pointing out is its fluted caseback, a flourish that's barely visible when the watch is strapped to one's wrist, but yet another demonstration of Vacheron's savoir-faire. That said, if you ever owned one of these watches, you'd probably spend just as much time admiring its caseback as its dial, as the Traditionnelle Tourbillon Chronograph Excellence Platine isn't just pretty from the dial side. Under the hood beats the in-house manual winding caliber 3200, a movement first developed in 2015 for the brand's 260th anniversary. It was designed from the ground up to be a monopusher chronograph with a tourbillon regulator, as opposed to being an amalgam of different movements. It features an unusual layout with the tourbillon at 12 o'clock rather than at 6 o'clock as you'd usually expect, with a 45-minute chronograph counter appearing at 3 o'clock. While it does beat at the rather leisurely rate of 2.5 Hz, it boasts a 64-hour power reserve and is beautifully finished, having received the Pension de Genève. It's all about the details here. Curvaceous bridges resplendent in Cote de Genève with beautifully beveled edges and a column wheel topped with a Maltese cross motif. It's also a treat to use, with a satisfyingly crinkly winding click and a crisp, confidence-inspiring chronograph pusher. The one big criticism you could levy at this watch, other than its exclusivity, is its dial layout. Placing the tourbillon at 12 o'clock is an inspired move, maybe not to everyone's taste. Another sticking point is the slight imbalance between the Vacheron Constantin logo at 9 o'clock and the subdial at 3 o'clock, which has been the focus of some criticism. I quite like the subtle asymmetry of its dial. Do you like this watch's layout? Let me know in the comments. I think what makes this Traditionnelle Tourbillon Chronograph Excellence Platine so compelling, and indeed what makes Vacheron Constantin so compelling, is how it contrasts extremely traditional and subtle watchmaking with modern, vivacious touches. The dial layout is a great example of this. On the one hand, it's really classic, but then putting the tourbillon at 12 o'clock and laying out the subdials like they have provides a modern twist. I also love how weirdly subtle this watch is. Okay, a 42.5mm platinum tourbillon watch, worth well into the six figures, is hardly going to fly under the radar. Yet, it exudes a sort of restrained, confident quality. At 11.7mm thick, it actually sits on the wrist rather nicely, and the dark blue strap and silver-coloured dial combo lend it an air of contemporary dressiness. Look, you can probably tell by now, I really like this watch. I love its contradictions, I love its opulence, and I love its classiness. It's not the most complicated watch Vacheron has ever made, but the feelings it inspires are certainly multitudinous. The Vacheron Constantin Traditionnelle Tourbillon Chronograph Excellence Platine is a limited edition of 50 pieces, and is available now, price upon request. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you'd like to watch more, please hit subscribe, and until next time, don't be a stranger.